So it seems as if we couldn't go 72 hours without Ja Morant doing another absolutely idiotic fucking thing. And this video is going to be a little different. In fact, this video is going to be a lot different. I'm going to let you guys into my life a little bit, okay? I'm not lying about any of this. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for people to think like I'm something that I'm not. I just want to give you two perspectives. That's the reason I'm doing this in this video, okay? Now, some of you have been able to figure out through my videos that I have a t-shirt that says Mossberg on it, okay? Mossberg is a gun manufacturer, okay? When I bought my Mossberg Maverick 88 20 gauge shotgun, they sent me a t-shirt with it, okay? It was some promotion thing, whatever. I got a t-shirt with it. I don't only own a shotgun, though. I own a Springfield 1903 A2, I believe, or A3, one of the two. It's sporterized, it's glass bedded, it shoots 30-06 rounds, and I also have an AR-15. You will notice that I do not show you guys any of these things in my videos. You know, there's a lot of reasons that I don't. Primarily being I don't want people to know I have it, which I kind of just broke that in this video, but, you know, I feel like the message is more important in this video, but also because I don't want people to get the wrong impression. You know, I don't want people to think that I'm something that I'm not, okay? And honestly, pre-COVID, if you told me that I would ever own guns, I would have told you were full of shit. But, you know, I live in New York. Desperate times call for desperate measures. We had a lot of really suspect people move in down the street from me. There's a house at the end of my road that the sheriff's office and the state police are always at regards to drugs and overdoses and stuff like that. So I wanted to have some type of protection for my family, right? I also think it's important to point out here, I pointed it out in the last video, and I've pointed it out before on the channel, but the community that I live in is not exactly the greatest. Now, the area I live in and where I work has about a 98% poverty rate. You know, I'm one of the lucky few, I guess you could say, where I don't live in an apartment. Like my parents, we have our own house, you know what I'm saying, on our own land and shit like that. We have a well, we have a septic system, shit like that, okay? So I consider myself to be very fortunate compared to a lot of other people in my area, who are, you know, like welfare, food stamps, WIC, HEAP. Like, I don't have to be a part of that. Like, my family makes enough money where I don't have to experience that. Section 8 housing, like, I don't have to experience that. But with that being said, okay, I did go to school there in this town. You know, like, I went to school there. I've been around some shit, okay? Like, I may not live in the hood. I'm just on the outskirts of it, though. Like, I can't even say I've been in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that's like. But I do know people who are in that life. I know I got people I graduated high school with who are doing 30 years for shooting somebody over a pair of fucking Air Jordans. Okay? Like, I know some people who have done some bad shit. And I'm just gonna say this, man. Whenever I see people like Ja Morant, okay, do the things that he is doing, okay, showing up with his friends and threatening the Indiana Pacers staff and allegedly beating up a 17-year-old kid last summer, punching him 12 to 13 times and then brandishing a gun. Then not even like 2 days after that report comes out, he goes on Instagram Live at a fucking nightclub of all places and pulls a gun out and shows everybody. And there's two sides of me to this whenever I see things like this happen. One, the really pissed off side of me. Because When people do stuff like this, right? Like, I get it. I understand the fascination with buying a new gun. Like, when you get into the gun community, man, you really realize how big it is, and like, it's like buying a new fucking toy, okay? Like, I know guns aren't toys, but that's what it's like. It's like getting a new car, okay? It's like, I understand the fascination with it. You know, I got friends, every time they buy a new gun, the first thing they do is shoot me a picture of it, show me what it's like, you know, and like, there's some really cool, fancy, creative shit out there, guys. Like, I'm not even kidding. You can find guns for $4,000-$5,000 that you're like, that fucking exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand that aspect of it. I understand the fascination, but I would never go on Instagram Live and like flash a gun to somebody acting like I'm hard or pretending to be something that I'm not. I've posted videos of me shooting guns before, like target shooting and stuff like that. But that's not the same as going on the internet and just pretending to be somebody you're not. Okay? Like, yes, shooting guns is a sport. We'll call it that, right? But there's a difference between acting responsibly and teaching good handgun etiquette and proper gun etiquette, and going on the internet and making a complete fucking ass of yourself. Okay? And unfortunately, it's people like Ja Morant who go on the internet and make a complete ass of themselves that makes it harder for people like me who are law-abiding citizens, law-abiding gun owners. Okay? Because you know what happens? Politicians see that shit, and the first thing they say is, oh, this is exactly why we should ban guns. And it's hard to argue with them. It really is. When people act this irresponsible with firearms, okay? I see every reason in the world why politicians think the way they do. I do. Because it's like, you're clearly not mature enough to handle a handgun. And unfortunately, that's how I feel about Ja Morant. And not only does this paint gun owners alike in a bad lens, okay, regardless of race, ethnicity, what have you, okay, it makes Ja Morant look bad. It makes people of color look bad. Because that's the narrative, man. Like, that's the fucking narrative. Is like, you know, as much as it sucks to say that, I understand not everybody is like that. I understand not all black people are like that, but that's the fucking narrative. Okay? That he's just enforcing the narrative that is had about black people for what, hundreds of fucking years? That they're violent, they commit crimes, you know, they'll fucking shoot you. Like people ask why racial tensions are so high, and like why white people have the opinions they do, and why people of color have the opinions they do. It's because all we do is reinforce the fucking shit that each side holds. Right? Like, that's all we do, is just continually fucking reinforce the things that these people believe, and then we bitch and complain when that's the opinion they have, but this is what you're giving them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't it's very hard to bitch about someone's opinion on something when, like, you're literally the fucking reason they have that opinion. And I honestly, man, the one thing that concerns me, and this is Anthony, I guess, the concerned citizen, okay? The reason this is so concerning to me is because Ja Morant decided to do this at a nightclub, of all places, all right? And now the nightclub is a place where people go and they drink, okay? And all it takes is the wrong person to walk by and see Ja Morant doing that. Okay? That's all it takes, is one fucking person to walk by and see Ja Morant doing that. And one of two outcomes is going to happen. One, the first outcome, oh my god, he has a gun, everybody run. Okay? That's the first outcome. The second outcome is, hey, that's Ja Morant, he has a handgun, let me test his gangsta. Those are the two outcomes. Okay? And when you post shit like this on Instagram Live, you don't think people are watching? You don't think people in Brooklyn, people in Chicago, okay? You don't think they're gonna test your gangsta? You don't think there's people out there that will really fucking check you to see if you're really about that shit? It happens in hip hop. Just because you're an athlete or a superstar athlete doesn't mean that people won't test your fucking gangsta. Okay? I may be a skinny white kid, but I understand thugonomics to a fucking T. Okay? Like, I didn't grow up in the hood, but I'm very fucking close to it. I'm about a mile and a half away from it. Okay? Like, I understand, okay, the do's and don'ts. And, like, not for nothing, man, but one of the very fucking first things they teach you in handgun safety courses is don't pull your fucking gun out unless you plan to use it. Okay? In fact, every teacher I've ever seen or have talked to says if you pull out your handgun, you better fucking use it. Because the fact of the matter is, as soon as you do this, okay, with a fucking splicky or a pistol in your hand or whatever the fuck you want to call it, a Glock, okay, you just threatened somebody's life. Okay? Now at that point, it's go time. Okay? Like, if the only time you should ever pull out a handgun is when you feel your life is in danger. And they have better pulled their gun out first. Because if you pull, guess who's at fault? Okay? If you pull your gun first, guess who's at fault? You are. Because you made the initial threat. So, I hate this for Ja Morant. I hate this for the Grizzlies. I hate this for the gun community. I hate this for people of color. I hate this for fucking everything. Because this is not how a guy who's worth $230 million starting next year is supposed to conduct himself. And I do not, under any circumstance, want to see Ja Morant never play an NBA game again because they're worried he's going to do some fucking Gilbert Arenas bullshit and bring guns into the fucking locker room. Okay? Understand, I know this video was a little raw, and, you know, there's gonna be somebody who is fucking pissed in the comments that I said what I said in this video, and that's perfectly fine. I'm no stranger to criticism. I understand, okay? But the fact of the matter is, these things have to be said, okay? You can't. If you're somebody watching this video and you don't know anything about guns, understand I think it goes without saying that they're not fucking toys, okay? Even though, yes, we kind of treat them like they're toys, they're not. They're fucking dangerous, and if you don't know how to handle one, you could kill yourself or somebody else. And what Ja Morant did in that video was incredibly irresponsible. Incredibly irresponsible. He could hurt himself, or he could hurt somebody else. And I just feel like I part of me is glad this happened now. Part of me is glad it's like he's 23. The Grizzlies are suspending him for 2 games over it. But I'm glad this is happening now because you can't let shit like this just go on. You just can't, because you know what's going to happen, man? Like I said, he's going to hurt himself, or he's going to hurt somebody else, or somebody's going to hurt him. And I would very much enjoy getting to continue to see Ja Morant play basketball. Okay? I am a fan of Ja Morant. I like to think he's a better human being than this. I still think he's a good person. I think he's just incredibly misguided. But you gotta stop, dude. You have to fucking stop. I don't like you're a basketball player, bro. Nobody's looking at Ja Morant and going, "Oh my God, that's Ja Morant, the fucking, blood, Crip, Latin King, what have you." They're saying, "Oh my God, that's Ja Morant, the superstar basketball player." They want to approach you, okay? Kids see you and they want pictures with you. They want their autograph with you, Okay, they want to come to your games. They want autographed sneakers. That's what they want. They don't want to be afraid to approach you because they think you got gang affiliation, you know? So I don't know, man. Well, I don't know. I do know the outcome, but it's just, I hope he's learned a lesson. I really do. I hope he has learned that you can't do this shit. And hopefully, being that he's the breadwinner in his family now, he sits his friends, family, siblings, whatever down and understands and has a talk to them saying, we can't do this shit any longer. Okay? And if you're not going to fall in line with that, then get the fuck out. That's just the way he has to be. He has too much to lose. Okay? Like, I don't think Ja Morant understands. His friends, family, siblings, whatever, have way less to lose than he does. Okay? They don't have $230 million NBA contracts kicking in next year. Okay? So, hopefully he's learned. He put out a statement on Twitter. So it sounded good. I'll give him that. But actions speak louder than words. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens with this. But I hope this is the last of it. I really do. I hope this is the last that we hear of Ja Morant toting guns in front of people, other NBA staff, the issue with the 17-year-old allegedly, flashing guns on Instagram Live and nightclubs. Like, dude, just stop the shit. Can you please just stop? Just play fucking basketball, and I pray to God that you have fucking learned something from this. So what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.